abusia me first akonya we so mu akwaba sonko so e fa wo mra channel so abusia gidi say adom ene ahweye nti wo ho eye na abusia eye ade a eye Temele High Court yes atumi a declare eye election rerun ewo eye Kpandai constituency honorable eye Matthew Yindam abusia sesi eye ade a just say enye easy ewo eye parliament abusia ne ho che ne pa ewo eye parliament na abusia for ene eye ade Solomon Owusu ababonten eden sembi ede babatudwa efa eye sa Kpandai constituency no yes baby a eye court atumi a declare eye election rerun abusia ene ode some sembi ede atudwa efa eye Matthew Yindam anina efa eye Kpandai constituency na abusia we dey ma meka sama pese ekọ kote ensemo eye Solomon Owusu eye senior communication officer edema eye then movement for change sisi ababe eye UP eye United Party led by honorable eye Alan Chamantin abusia we dey ma meka sama pese ekọ ne kokote ensemo a cheso wode atudwa emra sisi ha eda so aye be media je abusia be so wase ene dey kon twa channel so be so subscribe to YouTube channel no be subscribe amayen abusia no wasa so aboy notification bell no so for more podcast updates abusia yen che won inti Solomon Owusu ne semo do tudwa mra sisi ha
abusia Mensah ka breaking news bi yemfa credit ma asase TV asase radio abusia ni nyina nse NDC Daniel wapa e gas the NDC Daniel wapa na Kpandai constituency eye enche bia ne kopie mu Tamale High Court na eye justice plan den order by enche say yenkoye rerun na breaking news yensa be ka asase TV flyer na the screen so ni nyina say NDC Daniel wapa false motion citing Jean Mensah which is EC chair Jean Mensah for contempt for contempt of what court and answer for contempt of what forging results and answer for contempt nature say was citing for contempt and that's you go tie Solomon Owusu ye nyina Solomon Owusu enkoma na wo de munya wonim se Solomon Owusu de onim se ono de wotena hia nature say ensem obeka de abusua you go tie sa enkoma ne mra nature say Kpandai NDC candidate wapa Daniel wapa was cited Jean Mensah for contempt. God bless you.
The defendant also responded to the various allegations that have been leveled in the petition. The petitioner or the defendant had a counsel. The matter went to court. Each one presented their issues. And at the end of the day, the court looked at the various facts that have been presented and said that a rerun was necessary. You see, my brother made a very beautiful submission, but his answer is also contained in the very writ that was filed. E. An order setting aside the declaration of the parliamentary election results affecting the 41 police stations out of a total number of 152 police stations by the 2nd and 3rd, so given on the 9th of December. An order directed at the 2nd and 3rd respondent to conduct a rerun of the parliamentary election that affected 41 police stations out of the total of 152 police stations in the Kpandai constituency on a date determined by the court. Or, in the alternative, and this is the petitioner speaking, in the alternative, an order directed at the 2nd and 3rd respondent to recollect. So the petitioner was that confident that even in recollection of the 41 polling stations, he was still in the lead. Recollect the results in the affected 41 polling stations on the date determined by the court. So his view had already been captured in the writ that was sent by the petitioner. Look, we cannot, on the altar of someone has been declared, and so even if the will of the people have been shortchanged, we must let the status quo remain as such. No way. It is better for us to have the right representation. I don't have any problem with whoever is the MP in Kpandai, so far as or so long as that person is coming to serve the interests of this country. I don't have any difficulty. But you cannot come to parliament when indeed the people that you claim they voted for you did not vote for you. That's why you must resist it. The court says there should be a rerun. I've heard the candidate of the NPP say that he won comfortably with 3,700 and something votes. Is that not the case? So this decision is not a victory for anyone. All that the court has said is that go back and let's see whether truly, mano a mano, you won the elections. It is the same voter register that will be used. By now, you may have about 10% of the voting population either dead or left the place. So a substantial number of voters are still there. Go back and do what? And vote. Now, I see the difficulty of the minority leader and the minority NPP. Mind you, these days when you are quoting minority, don't let us put all of us together, because the United Party is a minority party. So sometimes if we don't draw the distinction, people might think that we fall under the minority NPP, when in fact the United Party is also a minority party, but a responsible one as such. Here is a political party's leader in parliament who knows the law. In fact, he is a lawyer that knows that the matter has already been appealed, taking the judiciary to the cleanest. That the judge, Justice Planch, only sought to serve his paymasters, and he has not been called to anybody or any contempt procedure occasion. I have not heard it before. He fees from the court. He fees from the court. I'm not a lawyer. I don't intend to be one. But he offender will continue to fee from the court. So if you are bastardizing the court, you think you are spoiling me my business? It is you. Especially when he does not have any evidence. In any case, this judge, this very case, let me see the date that they filed it. So that this case was filed when? I think it should be in December of 2024. Is that not the case? January. You have the exact date. And the minority or any contempt procedure that the judge, Justice Planch, only sought to serve his paymasters. Hey! And he has not been called to anybody or any contempt procedure being occasioned. I have not heard it before. He fees from the court. He fees from the court. I'm not a lawyer. I don't intend to be one. But he offender will continue to fee from the court. So if you are bastardizing the court, you think you are spoiling me my business? It is you. Especially when he does not have any evidence. In any case, this judge, this very case, let me see the date that they filed it. So that this case was filed when? I think it should be in December of 2024. Is that not the case? January. You have the exact date. All right. When your date stamp it. Okay. So you are the one to get the date. But at the time this matter was filed, I believe it was still within the tenure of President Akufo-Addo. Because the law is so clear that if you have a petition against any issue involving election, it has to be, if it is a presidential, it has to be 21 days. Is it the same for the parliamentary? Yes. So if it is so, that means it was filed within the tenure of President Akufo-Addo. Indeed, this case would have been assigned by the embattled Chief Justice Tokonu. So if the minority has any issues, do they have issues with the one that assigned, that is Tokonu? Which which one is not true? Help me.
It's a high. He filed at the High Court formally. So there's a judge there. It's not now that Tokono is going to assign a judge to handle the matter.
Every case,
the judge in Kpandai was stopped from
What I'm saying is, if you say he has signed it,
who supervises the judiciary? Every case that goes to court, let me tell you, the stamp at the back of the case is that of the Chief Justice. Am I wrong? So if you have Afenyo Markins who could go to court at 12 o'clock and get conviction and get rulings ready by 3 o'clock, come to tell us that what the judge did was to serve the paymasters. And I'm saying that the case started during the tenure of the MPP's president, or the president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, who was an MPP person. Then whose paymasters was he talking about? That's the first point. Secondly, Senna, you were in this country when, in the last elections, Obuasi East, the returning officer, declared for the NDC. You were in this country. Now, the matter was taken to court. The court overturned that declaration in favor of what? The MPP. Why did Afenyo not come and tell us that the judge on that occasion served his or her paymasters? What about Isabom? When the court ruled in favor of Anodompe, why did we not hear from Afenyo come to tell us that the court only served their paymasters? And these rulings all came in April of 2025. In April of 2025, who was the president of this country? Is it not John? It wasn't not John Mahama, and is it still not John Mahama? So you see, when you have a very weak leader, I have said that Afenyo is a very weak leader, so weak a leader. And it's the reason why the MPP is not down there. He's not preferring or offering that constructive leadership. That leadership that builds a party. I keep saying that it is not much about the numbers in parliament. Because the situation the MPP finds itself now, they have been there before. In 1996, the MPP only had 67 members of parliament. But because of the quality of leadership, because of the quality, the position that Afenyo is occupying today has been occupied by the likes of Jean Mensah before. Those were the days that we could pick up pens and papers and then go and listen to parliamentary debate to form our opinions on how to even write various opinions on matters. And they say that you will be making a fundamental mistake as a student of today to go and listen to Afenyo and follow his arguments and go and write F straight. But the true problem is not even with this. I have listened to the embattled MP himself, and that is where I believe that the judge has rather helped the MPP. In all honesty, because see, the NDC went to court mostly to get the 41 polling stations either rerun or recollected. Now, when I listened to the MP, the embattled MP, what he said was that the 41 polling stations contain about more than 10,000 votes. The only 41 polling stations that the NDC was talking about. And he claims that these were the polling stations that he won by a landslide. He won convincingly. Means these are his strongholds. And that the rest of the polling stations that they are talking about, the NDC won. So if you are a judge and someone comes to you that you preserve what I won and go after where I lost, I thought that the MPP would be clapping for the judge. That look, I do not want to advantage you, because then what it mean is that the NDC will be going into the rerun with that advantage. That they are already leading, they are only going to fight for the 41 polling stations and make sure that either they win or level. So if you say a rerun, would you not clap for him? That has to be. Now, I have said that the Kpandai constituency is the stronghold of the NDC by virtue of things that happened along the line. Yenam was able to penetrate. The true problem is that the MPP is now in disarray. They have a serious issue, a very big issue, division at the highest order. Look, I will be very surprised to see Kennedy Japan in Kpandai campaigning for Nyinam. When he has openly aligned himself with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and campaigning against Kennedy Japan sharply and heavily. And if you are Kennedy Japan or Brian Champo, would you waste your time and resources to go there and say you are going to campaign for Nyinam and empower him so that he can continue to be in parliament and use his parliamentary influence to be cajoling his people, his constituents, to be following you? This is the crux of the matter. This is where the problem is. While Kennedy has accused Nyinam and Co, all those northern parliamentary caucus, of doing tribal politics. Pure tribal politics. So these are the issues. Not because Afenyo thinks he lost, but no. He knows that even in campaigning for the candidate, it will be difficult because the frontliners, those that want to lead the party, he will not have the full cooperation of them. That is why, if you are a leader, we keep telling people, when some of us were in the NDC, we were telling you that, look, when you are going into internal battles, leaders, be it parliamentarians, ministers, party executives, don't take sides. Be neutral. Be neutral. So if you are known to be doing this against the other candidates, all in favor of Bawumia, what I've heard a lot of people from the other camp say is that Bawumia has been promising the New Patriotic Party that any election that happens in the northern region, he will deliver. So this is why they are handing it over to him. Go to Kpandai and deliver. But I'll assure you, Sarah, that they will give the MPP a gap. My only worry is that our final certificate is not ready. That the United Party would have fielded a candidate, and I can tell you that we would have given the NDC a good one and we will win it.
But you were not part of the...
Which one is not part? It's a rerun. Everybody's here.
The rerun, yeah.
Oh, you are not here.
The rerun, the candidates that way. Thank you. So
you want to cut your...
I know, but...
advantage of...
but this one to launch ourselves. Because these people, they are... Look, it's a gunner. Now that you are referring to people as motherfuckers. Hey, Osofo. You know what that guy is Osofo?
Really?
He prays more than anybody. Is he a motherfucker? Motherfucker. Aye. This is what the party has got him to.
So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. A few comments. This is Dennis Yakote says, I agree with the MPP. The Court of Appeal will deliver justice by either affirming the decision of the court below or sustaining the appeal. But I want to ask if the Court of Appeal justices are from Nigeria or are also part of the irresponsible judges who we have at the moment, as Afenyomakin would want us to believe. Today, because of only one person, the dismissed CJ, who was out of the
Kpandai. Now, I was on a program with somebody who told me that the NDC had given up, as Afenyomakin has said, they had given up already. But because Bawumia considered quickly, NDC decided that there's something in there, they should go and follow up. Oh, come on. In the cross-examination, the EC and MPP had a pink sheet that the NDC never had the same figures. And it's all over the place. That's why I'm calling for prosecution. As Solomon has said, let us prosecute the EC officials for once. Then something also came up. The date of Gazette. They challenged the date of Gazette of the NDC guy. So now you are aware. I told you before. It happened in Akwetia. They brought their own Gazette notification. I wrote to the Assembly Press, Ghana Publishing, and they came and gave us the one we had. The Supreme Court asked Justina Menuvo, the EC lawyer, that confirmed which one is genuine. So the one we have posted, we have. Then the Supreme Court said, you are not helping matters. Just tell us which one is the fake one and which one is the genuine one. So a lot happens in the election. So it is not only polling station. That thing about you win and lose as polling station, let's forget about it. It's one of the areas you can win and lose. So many things. And they brought that also to Kpandai, but the people said, hey, the one we bought from Assembly Press is the genuine one. And the court upheld it. It's one of the grounds of the appeal. But you see, in law, so now if I tell you this is white, and you dispute that it is not white, that's why we are in court. Then you decide you are going to take further steps after telling me this is not white. Maybe you have now gone to paint somewhere to make it look like yellow, white, or white, black, white, or something. The court will say, after your initial objection, you have taken further steps. So the further steps you have taken have nullified all your initial objection. So having already objected that is not the Gazette notification, they have taken steps in the matter. So you can't come back today and say, oh, we raised it at the beginning, when you have allowed the whole thing to travel. That, with all respect to them, they will fall.
It weakens our democracy. Is it insinuating? Let's hear Afenyo King what he had to say, and that's the point of disagreement.
The judiciary must know that their actions and inactions to serve the interests of whoever their paymaster is has the tendency of destroying our peaceful republic. We will not mince words. They can conspire to call us one by one for a so-called contempt of courts. We are criticizing their shameful conduct. We are not afraid. We are ready to be in Nsawam for their so-called contempt. The sad part of it is that the NDC candidate and his supporters were aware of the judgment before the day, to the extent that on the day of the said judgment, the regional minister led a team of NDC party faithfuls into the courtroom, anticipating the expected result.
So typically, if any ordinary lawyer makes these statements, they will be on the way to actually go to jail for contempt. But he is minority leader, so he has a certain leverage, and he's doing a certain public commentary, which may perhaps the democracy will permit.
I'm worried because, Robert, we're in November. Remember last year this time, what he was saying about the court. And since then, I don't know whether this High Court judge who was appointed this year. I mean, you see, my worry is that, and all of us sometimes get guilty of it. And I said that, you who were trying to influence the other. In the case, you even were trying to get some Supreme Court judges to influence some members. You remember the heat I had to go through? I had to apologize. Because, I had to apologize. I didn't mention any specific name. I just said that, we know that you have even used a Supreme Court judge to do this. And something you knew, as I know, that look, we had the phone number because it was unknown. We had the conversation 8 minutes, but the court will not give us the order for MTN to give us the audio. So I said that, look, you, my colleague, who told me this information, you told me you have recorded it, not knowing that it was swept, it was clean on her phone. So we didn't have it. And everybody said that, look, but this one, Sam George is the communication minister. So he was the one who did all the tracking, all the numbers and everything with Lawyer Tatuchi Carter and others. They were all saying that, no, you have to stand your ground. I said, no. Ethics should be very, very important. Once we cannot get the actual evidence, it will be unfair for the other Supreme Court judges. Because if I had mentioned a specific judge, it would be between myself and that judge. Now I've said the whole Supreme Court judges. And now the very evidence we're relying on is destroyed. And we can't have it from the court because the court will not grant us to go to MTN to get it. I think that the most decent thing to do is to apologize. And I did apologize. And I have no regret apologizing because if it was down to me, I expect an apology. I want the minority leader to know that being in leadership position comes with a lot of responsibility. And managing that with your emotion and what you say and what you don't say is very, very important. And also, as is the lead person, I was a whip.
You, the majority, have already pushed him to the wall, especially with this ECOWAS Parliament matter. And now they actually held a press conference just yesterday, Patricia P.J., the deputy, asking the speaker to apologize and so on, and then the petition citing him to the Privileges Committee to be withdrawn unconditionally, among others.
But I mean,
why do you cite your minority leader
because
to appear for discipline?
You remember before
Privileges Committee.
When we were taking that decision in the chamber, try and get the video. I spoke and I gave the history. I'm with all humility, Samson, and with a greater respect to our listeners. I'm nobody. As my brother here knows, by the grace of God, I've been the longest serving whip this country has ever seen. I've served as majority whip and minority whip. And he knows. There's something we call in the parliament, we call the chamber dynamics. I'm gifted with it. He knows. I'm very good. My God has given me that gift. I'm able. That day I predicted this, and I sent a caution to him that don't go to ECOWAS Parliament and embarrass us, because what you do